Please join me in turning around and saying good morning to those live streaming. You're in the right place at the right time. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul. Your soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome. Come on, put your hands together. You know your soul is welcome. Everybody's welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Bam. All right.
He did that the first service and
Yeah,
really
bam.
caught all of us off guard.
Bam. Bless
So-
and multiply.
And so together, 1, 2, 3, bam.
Okay.
That
We can move on.
You just never know what to expect. So in that strain of this beautiful community, I want to greet you all in the name of all that is beautiful and all that is sacred in this beautiful time of year, this sacred time of year, and this amazing, warm community that we call home, Spiritual Life Center. So we know that our mission here is to transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And if you are here for the first time, we especially want to welcome you. We know that you are not here by accident. You are here by
Divine appointment.
And whether you are sitting here or you are live streaming from some warm, cozy place, we are all here by divine appointment. And the divine appointment that I know you all remembered before you walked into this sanctuary was to silence anything that will ring or chime or beep or buzz.
And anything else that may come up in those devices
Because
that
there
have,
is
have been invented since this morning.
And this community has a superior memory.
Yes.
So everyone's remembered. And many thanks to Shirley Brown. She did our beautiful flowers that are in the lobby on the credenza. So if you see her, please be sure to thank her. She does this at least once a month and shares of that beautiful creativity.
Well, we've got that clearing to connect with that presence. Let's commune with it for a moment, affirming that this presence is always for us, always reminding us of who and what we really are, expressions of the divine, expressions of love itself. We're reminded that we are the way that this presence gets around in our world, and as we make this presence the activity of our awareness in our thoughts, our words, and our actions, we radiate these qualities to bring about the world that we see when we are at our highest and our best. It is up to us, for it comes through us and as us. And so we come together to enhance and reinforce that, because whenever two or more gather together in a divine idea, it cannot help but manifest itself in this world. So today and every day is good and very good as we go forth, doing our part to multiply the good that is everywhere. Amen.
Amen. And we are going to multiply. We're going to multiply a lot before the actual holidays. We're going to multiply events. And so I want you all to not miss any one of the major events that we have happening. So the first of which this week is our WOW program, which is the beautiful annual Advent Garden Spiral. And that is an experience. It's a sacred ceremony for the entire community, young and old. It's a garden labyrinth which portrays the kingdoms of the earth waking to the coming inner light. And so you will have a beautiful evening accompanied by soft music by Paula and Catherine Mandela. And you're all invited to journey to the center with a candle. And you'll place your candle there where you meet your own inner light. And then you carry that light out into the world. So you can join us for soup at 6 and that beautiful garden ritual at 7. And so in your bulletins, there are a number of inserts, and they all have lists of dates, times, so that you don't have to miss anything. But we're going to run through them really quickly. So our choir does a beautiful job of creating beautiful Christmas platters of cookies from around the world. So they will have those here available for sale next Sunday. So I would recommend that you grab a couple and grab a few extra, and especially one for the car. So, it used to be that the choir would give me an example to hold up for you. And I don't know what happened. They stopped giving me examples. I know, but I think it's because one time when it was Vera's Ozark brownies, I ate them.
Okay.
They might have disappeared.
See, that's
so
what
I
happens.
think they're on to me. So also we have our giving tree continuing through the 23rd, and that is a beautiful opportunity to select an ornament. On the back of the ornament is a name of a child in our foster care system in the greater Sacramento area, and they have their wish list. So you can be a Santa to one of those children and spread your joy to them. So please be sure to see the table in the courtyard for that. And on the 19th, we have our first candlelight. That's a Wednesday. The program's at 7. Is there soup that night? No soup. No soup on the 19th. On the 23rd, and then the 24th, there's a candlelight at 5. And would there ever be soup on a Monday? No. But the program is at what time? 5. And that's Christmas Eve. It's that last beautiful candlelight service of the year. Then on the 23rd, Sunday the 23rd, Reverend James and Reverend Deborah are doing a beautiful contemplative program. And so there's only one service. What time will you come? Oh, you're so good. And then on the 25th, what happens on the 25th? Yeah, someone's in the kitchen with Sally. Someone's in the kitchen, I know, and it might be you. So we have our Christmas morning potluck, and you can join Sally as she champions a community time together on that really special day. We will have nothing happening on the 26th, so stay home. There's no service and there's no soup. On the 30th, which is Sunday, we have our beautiful Blessing of the World Religions. And Reverend Deborah heads that up with the interfaith team. It's a very sacred ceremony that honors all of the world's traditions. And that happens only once. What time? 11. That's a beautiful event. And then on the 31st, we have our Burning Bowl, and you will hear a lot more about that in the coming weeks. It's also in your bulletin about what time to show up, what time the doors are open, when the meditations happen, when you can have chili, when you can write a letter to God, when you can go to the Burning Bowl, when you can come back in here and have a beautiful ceremony, and then when you can have an after concert with Michael Dean Rogers. There's a lot going on.
And I'm glad that you wrote it all down for us.
And then I have to apologize. So we do a lot of paperwork throughout the week, and I bring all of these documents into our staff meeting every Wednesday. And I looked in my binder and I noticed that it was all correct. But this morning, this part of our program is all from last week. So don't look at it. Look at all of the other information.
Pretend it's not there.
I promise next week I'll do better. I will. And so our men's group is coming up this Saturday, and it is going to be a wonderful program with David Woody Bartley. It's called Strength Grown Tender, Profile of the Modern Man. What a fabulous program. I wish that I could just kind of come in disguise and take part in that, because it sounds fabulous. And then That's coming up.
That's another one coming up.
The New Year joint retreat with the men's group and the women's group happens on Saturday, January 5th, and that's with Reverend Dr. Gail Darren and David Woody Bartley. It's Connecting Through Oneness, and it's a full-day program. It's going to be, registration will open in the next few weeks. It's a wonderful opportunity to be together in community and take that deep dive.
And if you want to connect through silence, you can attend the Power of Silence gathering that's going to begin on Thursday with our own Reverend Janae Marth. You can step into the peace that's there for you with an opening meditation that's going to lead into 30 minutes of silence. And there'll be a brief sharing after the silence, and it's a gift you can give to yourself this season. As all the other stuff is taking place on the outside, you can still go to that still small voice within you.
Yeah, and we really want to say a great thank you right now to Reverend Christine Boughton, our former Senior Minister of Operations. And she, stand up, would you stand up? So she took the first wave of your gifts to the campfire recipients. I think it was last Sunday, to the Oroville community, and we are still collecting those items. They're gift cards for Walmart, Target, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, ways in which those people in the most need can immediately get exactly what they need. So we're taking collections. She'll take another group up, I think, on the 23rd, and then our tithing committee has recommended that and granted our monthly tithe to go to both of those communities directly in December. So that will be the Unity of Oroville and then the Chico Center for Spiritual Living. So thank you, Christine, and thank you, all of you, for your generosity.
And it's very well received, I'm sure.
And on a sparkly, lighter note, I think I hear our youth education.
They're on their way.
I think I hear a sleigh bell. Do I hear bells?
I feel the vibe.
We're here. The little angels are here. Namaste, beautiful Santas of SLC. So we have a special invitation for you to our party today, and we also want to let you know a little bit about what we're up to this shining December. So we are celebrating the magic of Christmas. Can you just close your eyes and breathe that in? And magic is a word that could be dated back to the pagans. And Christmas can also be dated back to the pagans, as they wanted to celebrate the light in the darkest time of the year. And so it's wonderful being an interfaith ministry because we get to celebrate different traditions. I know, who am I trying to fool? My angel just went right away, didn't she?
Just transferred it a little bit.
That ship has sailed. Anyway, so I digress. As it should be. Anyway, so last week, Betsy did a wonderful Hanukkah celebration, and today we are being visited by the spirit of St. Nicholas. We're leaving our shoes, and things could happen, just saying. Next week, St. Lucia will be here to light our heads on fire. No, the candlelight of St. Lucia will be here next week, solstice, and then we'll be doing our own version of blessing the world on the last Sunday of December. So we wanted to just share a little bit of our heartbeat and our drum beat. And Mr. Jonathan? Oh, no. Here. Thank you. What happened to your? What I heard about the flame, I took it off. All right, so one of the songs that we're singing this month blesses the world and also sings peace in different languages. So we're just going to do a little bit of one beat, one drum. You guys say one. One beat, one drum. Bismillah, ya Fatah. One beat, one drum. Yeah. And so we are also spending the month talking about the Christmas story about the birth of Jesus and the metaphysical meanings that are in every bit of it, from the shepherd's candy cane crook to the shining star that is the light of the world that is inside of each one of us. So we want to do a little rum-pum-pumming with you. Ready? Come, they told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. A newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. The finest gifts to bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. To lay before the king, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Yes, we want to do the whole song, but we won't. Okay, so it was hard to stop. It was hard to Good job, friends. So, look at you guys. Santa. I can explain. I love their shirts. So we're having our Christmas party today. It's our Divine Shine, 12/9. You're here already. You might as well stay. So from 12:30 to 2:30, we're having a nice potluck lunch. Louise bought the meatballs.
We're on the stove right now.
Right? And we have hot cider. I brought salad. I don't know what else we have, but it'll be good. And we're decorating cookies and making lots of crafts, so get your glitter on. And it's for all ages. So come experience the magic of Christmas and the season and light and love and all things good. We hope to see you today. And if so or if not, we just affirm with you that you are the light of the world. You are the divine shine. And it is good and very good. And we are all so blessed. Namaste.
Namaste.
They're having a lot of fun today.
Yes, lots of buzz in the youth.
Yes.
Let's see, where are we? Just to acknowledge a few folks that are here this morning, our ambassadors, any board of trustee members that are here, as well as our prayer chaplains. We invite them to stand. And the ambassadors are wearing the rainbow ribbons, and they're here to give you any guidance that you need, point you in the right direction, let you know about the activities and how to get engaged and enrolled in Spiritual Life Center in so many different ways, and we thank them for their presence. And any of the board members here wear the purple ribbons on their name badges, and they serve, of course, 3-year terms to help guide and shape and direct the oversight of our spiritual community, and they do tremendous work to bring us good stuff here at Spiritual Life Center. And our prayer chaplains do the consciousness work and really hold the high watch for us and pray with us as we're going through any challenges or any joys as well. And they're available to pray with you immediately after the service here in the sanctuary or in the courtyard. So we thank them for their presence and their service to our community.
And if you are here for the very first time, in a minute, we're going to hand you a few things. The first is a welcome card. It is your ticket to get connected here. It's a great way to sign up for Reverend James' weekly email message, which is inspirational and informational in equal measure. So do sign up for that, fill out that card, drop it in the offering basket, or take it to the welcome table where they have some special gifts for you. And so now we'd love for you to raise your hand.
Any
If you're here for the first time.
just keep your hand up nice and high. We'd like to give you a special gift.
And we are going to give you a shell lay. And on that shell lay is a blessing that says, we believe we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that there are many paths to the one God. And this morning we're so grateful that you joined us on your path. And now let us stand and greet those beautiful newcomers and all the beauty of all of you.
And each other. And just say you are marvelous.
And we invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, Touch of the Divine by Richard Burdick.
Here we go. I'm waiting for her. 1,
Please join me in singing. I feel the touch of the divine. I feel the prayer God prays for me. I reach beyond myself in humility, and I embrace the mystery. Standing in the light, God's love is enough for me. Standing in the light, in God's love I am set free. I stretch my wings, I'm lifted up by the unseen power of light. I stretch my wings, I soar, yes, now I fly, for I've been touched by the divine. Standing in the light, God's love is enough for me. Standing in the light, in God's love I am set free. I'm standing in the light, standing in the light, God's love is enough for me. Standing in the light, in God's love I am set free. In God's love I am set free. In God's love I am set free. Please be seated.
Now we're going to engage in the activity together of speaking some of those qualities that we have determined as a group to be our triggers to living with nothing and no one against us. It's an awakening process. So we are going to speak together those things, and then we're going to speak about who and what we have come here to be. So let's do that together. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, or fearful, because this is who we have come here to be: inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. And now let's embody all of those beautiful qualities of shadow and light, accepting them all, acknowledging them all, and embodying our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now, as we prepare for meditation, we sing, all good, all good.
All good, all good, all good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All all one. All one. All one, all one. Holy, holy. All in my heart, in my mind, in my soul. Let me know. Holy, holy, all God. All God, all God. Holy, holy. All God. All God. Holy, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is God. Holy, holy. All good, all good, all good. Holy, holy. All good, all good, all good. Holy, holy, holy. Yeah. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good. Holy, holy, all in my mind, all in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good. Holy, holy, holy.
All in my mind, all in my heart, all in my soul. Take a moment to breathe deeply into your heart. As you drift into that center space, you see a tiny point of light floating just above your physical heart. This is the divine spark that lives in each one of us. But it seems so small. And you wonder how that tiny spark can have any effect on you or the outside world. As you come even closer to this inner light, this divine spark, you ask it a question. You seem so small, trapped in this body. What use can we be? This little light becomes a little brighter, and in your mind you hear it say, "Follow me." And the spark floats up and up, pulling you along, and you glide into a nighttime sky. The stars and moon glimmer. It is quiet, it is calm. And you float along in safety and contentment. It is like you are moving towards the center of the universe. And up ahead, you see another tiny light. And again, you feel pulled. And so you go in that direction. And as you come closer, you see an open-sided temple that is made out of onyx. And you can see that inside is burning a single flame. And as you come closer still, you see that hundreds and hundreds of tiny sparks are all moving towards this temple. And then it comes to you that in this moment, you are a tiny spark as well. And you move into the stream of lights and glide into the temple. In the center of the temple burns an enormous single flame. It is clean. It is pure. It is holy. And you know that this is the eternal flame. The tiny sparks form a circle around the holy flame, each one touching another. And there seems to be no limit to the size of the circle. It is a circle, but it goes on forever. It is infinite. And now the circle of lights begin to dance and whirl around the mother-father flame. And as the circle rotates, the divine flame expands, moving up and out until the entire circle is engulfed. And each tiny spark is ignited and enlivened. And then there is no more tiny spark. There is one bright burning circle of love and compassion joined with the one holy flame. Give yourself over to this divine dance of love and compassion. Celebrate that part of you that is more powerful than you ever imagined. Give thanks for being a divine spark in the silence. You are renewed. Now you know who you are. You are a divine spark, each and every one. So take a breath now and begin to return to your human form. And as you re-enter your body, you hear a soft voice offering this blessing. Oh, my beloved, the divine spark burns within each of you. It is eternal. The dance of love and compassion fueled by the divine flame is eternal. Your spark may seem small, but it is the essence of who you are, a divine eternal being. And when you burn with love and compassion, you bring infinite blessings to your world. Remember this always.
The song is dedicated to Mark Angeles. We miss you, my friend, and we hope that you're having a wonderful journey.
this one and that one, 'cause each one is God's gift to the world. They are, and we are, 'cause each one is God's gift to the world. There are no extra people in a mansion or a ghetto. Each heart and soul is counted. They're no different than you.
So look across the ocean, see those on distant corners, or see the one beside you. Look in your eyes and you'll know that it's true.
'Cause this one and that one, 'cause each one is God's gift to the world. We are, and they are. Yes, each one is God's gift to the world.
You know the lonely people, first ones and the last ones,
first ones and the last ones, all the brave and small ones, the ones that win and lose, all will be remembered, even the forgotten, from every single nation.
every single nation.
You know it's true.
It's true for me and you.
'Cause this one and that one, 'cause each one is God's gift to the world.
Oh,
They are, we are, 'cause each one
is God's gift to the world.
this one
There is one
and that one, 'cause each one is God's gift to the world.
You know that you are.
They are, and we
are. Yes,
each one is God's gift to the world.
we love you, Mark.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ann and John, for the wonderful duet and soul-like connection. I didn't want it to end. I wanted to keep on going. That was a great message to be hearing. As I mentioned earlier, that if anybody comes up to you and asks, who do you think you are? God's gift to the world? You say, well, yes, I am. Yes, I am. You know, I think we've been gifted, as someone said, by this presence with so much talent, so much capability, so much energy, that we couldn't use it all in a single lifetime. And our job is to use as much as we can during the single lifetime. And I think we're reminded as we head into the holy days and practice holy ways that what we're doing is really celebrating that. We're celebrating each other and coming together to sing and listen to song, to do nothing more than to lift our vibration so that we can be one with the divine. We can touch that presence that's always there. And I think when we get there, we rise above the seeming challenges and difficulties that appear in our life, and miracles seem to happen. You know, as we were watching the youth coming up earlier, you know, it reminded me that Christmas oftentimes is centered around the youth, and, you know, it's a big day for most of them. And, of course, it's talking about Jesus and what he represented within us. And there's a story about some kids that were in the youth program, the Sunday school. And the teacher, the facilitator, decided to ask them a question about, you know, where did they think Jesus was? And he asked them, well, where's Jesus for you? And the first little kid said, well, Jesus is in my thoughts. Every time I try to think of good thoughts, I think about Jesus. So Jesus is in my thoughts. And the teacher said, oh, that's really good. That's great. And he asked the second child, well, where's Jesus for you? And he said, well, Jesus is in my heart. I think about love when I think about Jesus. And then there was a third young man there, and he was like little Johnny. And if you know what little Johnny is, he's a little different. And little Johnny said, in answer to the question, you know, where's Jesus? He said, well, Jesus is in my bathroom. Of course, that perplexed the teacher quite a bit at that moment. So what do you mean? Well, so every single morning, you know, my dad gets up while my sister's in there, and he's always saying, Jesus Christ, are you still in there? So regardless of where you may think he is, we really come to that realization that he represents something within us, our true nature and being. And he gave us our identity clause. In addition to being the gift of the world, he was saying that ye are the light. Ye are the light that lighteth up every man and woman, every person that comes into this world. And reflecting upon, you know, the meaning of Christmas, most of you are probably familiar with the Charlie Brown episode that comes out Christmas time. I don't know if it still comes out anymore. And there's a question that Charlie Brown kind of raises. And he asks, does anyone know what the meaning of Christmas is? Because they had been involved in buying stuff and all the external things, the materialism that was going on. And then Linus, the one that has the blanket that never leaves him, he walked out on the front of the stage where they were showing this particular part, and he laid his, you know, blanket down. And I don't think I ever saw Linus without his blanket, but he separated himself because this was a holy moment, apparently. And Linus began to read and quote from the book of Luke about what Christmas is about. And he said it's about, you know, God to the highest, glory to the highest. He said it was about peace on earth. It's about peace between men and women and people on the planet. And when we do that, God is well pleased. You know, the Christmas story symbolizes an account of coming forth into our consciousness, a greater awareness of who and what we really are, so that we can be the ones to make a difference in the world. But we have to be receptive to this. I think today more than ever we need that receptivity because there's a lot of challenges that people face individually, that we face as a country collectively, as a world collectively. And that message of peace on earth and harmony is such a powerful message for our day. And oftentimes we may think there's so much that has to be done that is really too much. We kind of tune out. And I was at the United We Stand event at the Salam Center last Thursday evening, and they had a number of speakers who were there. And one of the speakers was Julie Steinberg, who's the cantor of B'nai Israel. and also I think she's the wife of the mayor, Steinberg. And we were talking about how we face so much in the world and what's our role. And she said something to the effect that you are not expected to complete the task, but neither are we here to avoid it. We bring our gift, start what we can, face it. Or as somebody said, face it to erase it. And there's a sense of urgency that we may be facing as we move to a new world, a new year. And know that the year can either be further division between people or it could be a year of transformation and realizing our oneness with one another. And I think when we realize that, then we are able to respond to things that happen rather than react. And when we talk about respond, we talk about our responsibility. And in that is the word response ability. We have the ability to respond. So a lot of us, we read the same books, we listen to the same kind of talks, we studying the same things. We kind of know the information. But at some point, we don't come to centers such as this to hear anything new. As I always like to say, most people, spiritual teachers, leaders, personal development people, they don't have anything new under the sun, saying the same thing, different words. So we're not here to hear anything new. We're here to access the things we already know more deeply. So we don't hear, we go to a Christian tradition and say, well, I'm not going to the Easter service this year. I already know what happened. We don't hear anybody saying, well, I'm not going to the temple to go through Hanukkah or, have a Seder experience. I already know about that ceremony. We don't hear folks saying, I don't know anything about this Christmas service this year. I already know about the story. We do know. But each year, the story is not different. But hopefully each year we are a little bit more different. As someone was reciting back to me, and I didn't know if anybody even heard this, but I said even in Spiritual Life Center, in Unity, or any kind of spiritual place, we accept you as you are, but we expect you to change. So the point is not the story itself, somewhere way back there. The question is, how much do we bring to the story? How much receptivity we have to the story, to the information, so that something within us is changed, that we have an awakening. When I was in ministerial school, we used to have these different curriculums in Unity. They would change it every few years. Some days it's more, some years it's more academic, sometimes it's more prayerful, sometimes it's more transformational. And so our year we would have a different theme every term, and maybe one theme would be being in the wilderness, just the idea that when in that wilderness experience, you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know what to do, how do you apply spiritual principles? And then there's another term that we had in which we talked about awakening. And I remember I was just recently looking at some notes, I was looking at some boxes, and I was talking about my own awakening during the time that everything in my life seemingly collapsed around me. And I had that oneness experience. Something opened up for me that I didn't realize was there before, but I realized that all the challenges I have, all the missteps I had made, all the mistakes I had made really did not matter, because we can always begin again. And when I had that awakening, that realization, I wrote down, I did not have a bad day for 6 months. Didn't matter what went on. Every single day was a good day. Now, after a while, life started coming back into me again and, kind of wears off. But the reality is that we can be awakened at any time from any challenge that we have, because we are that light. And if we need to go to that light, then we begin to open up to what's possible for us, because the reality is that Spirit has the answers to any challenge that we have, even before we know it. Spirit has the answers to every mistake, every problem that happens to occur the moment it happens. Even in the times of tragedy, there is a divine solution waiting to be picked up by us, but it has to come through us. As I like to say, God can only do for us what we allow God to do through us. At that same event at Salam, one of the speakers was the deputy chief from the Sacramento Sheriff's Department. And he was talking about, his daughter going to school, college in Los Angeles, and it was right near where the shooting took place a month or two ago at the bar in which 12 people lost their lives. And of course, like any other parent, he was concerned about her safety, and he called her up and eventually talked with her and knew that she was okay. But she shared with him that they had gotten a message from somewhere, and they had some derogatory words to say about her, and they were going to kill all the Jews and the blacks. And so she was concerned. He was very concerned about her. And she was asking him, well, what should she do? In light of that heightened tension that was going on. And she had been preparing to go to class and so forth. And it was going to happen at the hall that she was going to have these classes. And he said, well, just don't go. And she thought about it for a while and said, no, I've been studying too hard. I can focus on my friends. We can support each other. And we don't have to succumb, to the hate that's around us. And maybe there's a bigger message there that we're here to stand in truth, to stand in the power of divine love that is always there for us. Because when we do, we capture that blueprint in which we realize there's always an alternative to the experiences that we have. A lot of people, when they were saying when that took place, there were a number of people, and I say a lot, but they were saying that, well, maybe we need to arm everybody so everybody will be safe. And I'm thinking, okay, they don't realize there's a lot of people on edge that you would not want to see having any kind of weapons in their hand. Because their motto or their mantra, they're kind of singing this song. I don't know if anybody remembers this from the rap days. Don't push me, because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. There's a lot of people with that consciousness, so no, you don't want to arm them. Because there is another plan. And of course, we may be asked, well, where is the plan, Spirit? Is it written someplace? Tell me where the plan is. Can somebody tell me about the plan? We may be getting on the phone and symbolically saying, as they said in that Verizon commercial, can you hear me now? Where's the plan? I haven't received a plan yet. What's going on? Well, the plan is never outside of us. The plan is within us. But we have to be the right persons in order to capture that plan, because we attract who we are. Most of us are familiar with the Christmas Carol with Ebenezer Scrooge. He's the one that, when somebody would say to him, Merry Christmas, he would say, bah humbug, And oftentimes we remember that part of it. But the story really is about a transformational experience. The Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. Something within him changed. And he came back a changed individual and made a contribution to everyone in this community. And I think it's reminding us that once we are the persons that we're here to be, we don't need anybody to tell us anything, because it will automatically arise from every thought and action that we take. I was realizing that when we're being the right person, there's always that still small voice within us that says, go here, do this, go left, say this, don't say that. And I thought about a nurse who was going through a very stressful experience in her life. She was wondering whether she was in the right profession, because there's a lot of stress for what she was doing in emergency rooms and so forth. A lot of conflicts in her personal life. And she said she started doing a lot of spiritual work, praying, meditating, practicing the presence, to get more in tune with her true self, to be her real self. He said around the holidays there was a patient that had come to the hospital and had a minor surgery. He was doing great. But she was having a bad feeling. She didn't know where it came from, but she was in tune with something within her. And so when she came on her shift, she kept checking with this person that was in the hospital that she knew about and asking him how he was. He was saying, well, I'm fine. And he decided to take a walk, just kind of leave his room and just kind of walk around the building, because he was kind of, concerned about just being in a room. And so she said something within her told her to check up on him. Just something. Something is another name for God. That's what I would say. Something told me. And she did. And fortunately, she did because somehow he had fallen and passed out because there was some problem with his heart that they were not aware of. And they realized that if she had not been there at that right time, they would not have been able to save him, but fortunately they did. But I think the point is that when we're in tune with ourselves, when we're being the right person, then everything begins to unfold perfectly for us. We may ask, what does that have to do with Christmas? You know, in that same Christmas story that Sinus was reciting in the book of Luke, there's a pre-story before that. And Mary is aware of the divine life that she carried. And she was desiring some time of quiet and meditation. And she says that she went up a hill to visit her cousin. And whenever we read something in the Bible about a hill or a mountain, metaphorically it means some sort of higher mind, some sort of higher awareness. And when she is in this higher awareness, that the angels came to her, which are thoughts of God, to tell her what the exalted thoughts were that were for her, and that something extraordinary is going to happen. And this was going to be the salvation for the world. It's something that is going to be born in her. And Spirit is telling her in some certain words, I'm going to place in you a divine seed, a divine idea. My divine nature will be placed in you. And Mary represents the soul of all of us, because every character represents something about us. And so the story is not about something that took place years ago. It's about something that's taking place within us right now. So we need to unwrap the story in our own lives. Realize in that story, Mary was pregnant. Each and every one of us is pregnant with an idea that's waiting to be expressed. Sometimes we feel that there's a lot of angst and challenges going on in our world, but it's waiting for us to express something different. And we do not have to accept it because we can respond to it. I was watching a documentary, kind of a documentary on the Stars channel. What really caught my eye because it was called The Warriors of Liberty City. Now, nobody knows anything about Liberty City unless you lived in Liberty City. And when I was a kid, I lived in Liberty City. And it was a place that was very, very rough. And in the story, one of the kids, 8 years old, but they were talking about all the little kids who were doing Little League football and how this was a way for them to stay out of trouble. And for many of them, it was a way to get out of the conditions that we're going through. And they were showing an experience of one 8-year-old who went to the grocery store and got caught between a shootout and he died. So that's the kind of neighborhood that it was. And so I was watching because I knew all the places. And one of the things they talked about is that they were going to start this program, and it was going to have to be in a park where they practiced. And that's where all the gangs would hang out. And so there was a lot of angst about doing that, going there. But they decided to do it because someone had put in a lot of money to create this program to help give these kids hope that seemed to have no hope in their life. There was a spark of something that was there, and it was so powerful, such hope for those people, that all the gangs had made a decision that they were just not going to hang out there anymore. And the reason they did that is because they didn't want others to have to follow the path that they were going through. And because someone made a decision to give their gift to help these others, it spread into the consciousness of those around them, despite the discomfort that they felt about the possibility of being there. I say all that because in our own world we have a lot of uncomfortable things taking place. We see the issues of climate change that are taking place, the intense fires that have just taken place, the conflicts that are running rampant in the world. Our country is sending inordinate amounts of money for weapons of mass destruction, and it's kind of problematic thinking if that's thinking at all. And sometimes we have to ask, as we look at the Christmas story, is the best we can do? I think there's more that we can do. There's more that we can do. We can birth a whole new way of being in the world. And I think that's what the Christmas story is about. You know, I think as we evolve as human beings, sometimes we only evolve when there's a crisis taking place or a challenge. You know, many people are chaplains or pray for other people, and they expend their life for the presence of God. You know, many people I know have been in 12-step programs I've been a part of. And in a particular moment in life, all the structures fell apart. Nothing seemed to be working anymore. Sometimes we be thinking that we're moving to hell in a handbasket, which I don't understand why a handbasket and hell went together at all. Sometimes it's always connected to that. But there was a particular moment where most of us realized that we can break away from that past. And sometimes we only get there when we go through the crisis. And then we're transformed. Just like in the Ebenezer Scrooge in that Christmas Carol. I think now and in those situations, we want the Christ to be born in us. Sometimes we may think there's no room in the inn when we have these things. There's no room when we see all the challenges that happen. There's no room for love, no room for forgiveness, no room for understanding, and all that fuzzy stuff. There's no room for this kind of thinking in our politics or places of real power. But know what happened when Jesus was born. He sat on the lap of Mary, and the kings bowed to him. The kings represented that worldly authority, that world of things in the material life. But they bowed to that presence. And that presence is not a religious presence. It's a force. It's an evolutionary power that we all have access to. Just like no one has any ownership of the moon or the stars or the ocean, no religion can own this evolutionary potential. It does not matter what our religious potential is. What matters is actualized in us. I think we have the opportunity as we practice the principles of what Christmas is about to be a light, to be that light that Jesus represented for us, for our city, for our country, and for our world. We can meditate upon the divisive political arena and see each party embracing each other, working together for higher ideals. That would be a miracle in and of itself, but I believe it's possible. We can see that Christ presence, that spiritual presence, kind of symbolically standing over everyone and seeing that we are always one in the Spirit. That gift is always there. But we start with ourselves because we are the angels that we're waiting for. And when we practice the principles and what Christmas represents, we realize that God can do whatever we need to have done through us if we're willing. So I think every season and every day can be a holy day. We can activate the gift of the eternal. And part of it is doing our part of praying for our enemies and bless those who curse us. We can forgive ourselves and others. We let go of judgment. We let our light so shine before others that people see our good works. And when we do that, it will be that Christmas or mass celebration of the Christ every single day. And we'll carry out the meaning of Christmas that Linus reminded us about in that cartoon of Peanuts. Peace and blessings to you. As we prepare for our gifts and love offerings, let us remember the spirit of Christmas, of giving out our own gifts, not only with our gifts and talents, capabilities, but materially, because it supports the community that is a place that others can come to have their lives transformed. It's a place that we can support other organizations outside of this local community as well. So as the ushers come forward to prepare to receive the offering, let us say together our offertory blessing together, and say it knowing it is the truth of who we are and what we represent. Together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
They say this is the best time of the year. And for most of us, that's probably how it feels. But what about the ones left alone? And all the people hurting, looking for a glimpse of hope. We could be that shining light to show the heart of Christmas time. People need love and we all are able. So take some time and start today to give some joy and hope away. 'Cause you might be somebody's angel. We run and run, we fill our schedules up. The gifts, the rush consume us all so much. Salvation Army Santa's ringing his bell, giving us a little reminder there's a world that needs our help. We could be that shining light to show the heart of Christmas time. People need love and we all are able. So take some time and start today to give some joy and hope away. 'Cause you might be somebody's angel. Oh, this Christmas, don't miss it. The chance to love someone right where they are. Don't miss it, don't miss it. We could be that shining light to show the heart of Christmas time. People need love and we all are able. So take some time to start today to give some joy and hope away. 'Cause you might be somebody's angel. 'Cause you might be somebody's Christmas angel. Somebody's Christmas angel.
Thank you, Ann and Paula, Soul Light Connection Band. They just keep doing it every single week. And we're blessed to have them. Let's just give them a hand. So we bless our tithes and offerings, going to bless the givers and receivers at all levels of their being as we go forth, giving our gifts to the world and anchoring a little bit more peace and love and joy to bring forth the world that we can see when we're at our highest and our best. So it is, and so we let it be. Thank you, God. Amen. And with that, let's join together and sing our peace song.
Bye.
as we deepen that energy and awareness.